G'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of Craft by Tim. Today I'm going to be hydro dipping this welding helmet that I've been working on for a little while. I reckon a hydro dip is going to make this look pretty damn cool. So hydro dipping in itself doesn't actually take very many different things. You'll need some paint, obviously. I'm using Rust-Alume for this because Rust-Alume seems to work the best. You'll need a primer. I have a white primer and I also have a grey primer. And I'll also have a clear coat for the top because you'll want to seal this after you're done. The other thing that you're going to need is something to hydro dip. There will be a second video coming out today of this finished. So if you guys want to see the finished product, you can check that video out. You want to make sure that the thing that you're going to be painting can be painted. Obviously, this is fiberglass, so it's going to be fine. And there's no like super delicate internal parts. The last thing that I did was a rifle stock, but for that I had to mask off all of the internal parts to make sure that I didn't get any paint anywhere that was important. Anyway, for this, first thing we're going to do is just quickly give it a wipe over, make sure that there's no dust or anything on, and then we'll hit it with a primer, and then we can talk about the other things that we need. So whilst that's drying, we're going to find ourselves a nice bucket that we can fit the helmet in nicely. Whatever you need to hydro dip, you need to be able to submerge completely in this bucket. And the bucket should be as clean as you possibly can. You also need enough water to fill the bucket. I find for bulkier items, it's better to have a much larger surface area that's going to be contacting straight away. With this, the pattern itself is going to get quite distorted as it gets pushed down into the bucket. So I'm not sure how exactly it's going to turn out, but I reckon this should be pretty okay. You can use as many as you like. I wouldn't use more than like 3 unless what you have is like a really long object, in which case you could sort of do a gradient pattern all the way along and then slowly like change out from say white and black to maybe a red and grey, or I don't know, whatever suits you. But make sure that you shake these thoroughly, and then what we do is we just spray straight into the water, and then we're just going to alternate between the two. And because I'm using white and black, I kind of want to see whether or not I can get this to work kind of like Damascus, and see whether or not I can even do a almost feather pattern. So we'll see how this goes. I have no idea whether or not it's going to work, but hopefully this will turn out alright. So, first time that I've done this in a while, so kind of not really surprising that it didn't turn out quite the way I wanted it to. But you know what? That actually didn't go super terribly, so just gonna clean this off, let it dry for a bit, I'll sand it back, and then we'll do another go. As for the rest of the paint in there, you just grab yourself a napkin. You should, hopefully, be able to just scoop this all up. I don't even know whether or not I was recording for that one. Alright, so I'm a fair bit happier with this one, but still not perfect. As you can see up here, problem with this particular method is the fact that water can get trapped underneath the paint, which is obviously bad, and if that water evaporates during the drying process, it will come up in air bubbles, which will then become cracks, which is actually quite difficult to tell on this particular pattern, but you will notice it in real life. I really like how this has turned out, and particularly around the edging, because that that actually looks really, really cool. But it's very difficult to make sure that that actually comes up everywhere. I'm gonna just see what happens if I just dip it after. Probably not gonna stick very well. This paint's a bit old. Yeah, it just came up grey. Grey and gross. I'm gonna clean it off as best as I can. We're gonna re-primer it and we'll go from there. Alright, we're going to try this again, this time using a 100 litre bucket. As you can see, it's only half full because that's as much as I need. Basically the exact same thing, except this time rather than just pushing it straight down, I'm probably going to try and roll it and see how that turns out. It might turn out slightly better. Oh, that's cool. Now I'm just going to give it a few coats of the satin clear guard. And just like that, we have our hydro dip done. Originally I was thinking, this is going to probably end up looking a little bit like a Damascus pattern, maybe a feather pattern even, but I really like the way that this turns out because it actually looks an awful lot more like a smoky space. And it just looks absolutely sick. Anyway, quick tutorial, hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you would like to see this thing finished, you can check out the other video that will be coming out today, and there will be a link for that in either the description or at the end of this video. Or if you've already seen that video, I hope you're having a great weekend, and I will see you in the next episode. In the meantime, do remember to stay safe, happy crafting, and as always, cheers.